was part of your music past part of the inspiration of creating a music inspired NFT? Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been a stage performer for several years, and one of the frustrations I've had with stage music is that is the notation. The notation with stage with music that I've had was very cumbersome and very hard to read. So for that reason, I always envisioned a better musical notation, and I brainstormed a lot of different ideas, and eventually this led to the seed of the idea of actually representing music and in programming languages, because programming languages fundamentally solve the problem of representing ideas very succinctly. So they've been developed explicitly for this purpose. And when you kind of think about the trajectory that sheet music has gone through, there hasn't been way too many iterations on it since the medieval eras.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
this was really, in large part, the idea of representing music, which then also naturally kind of found its way into a genesis of creating programmatic generative music.
Cool. What about you, Electric? Do you have a music background, or are you a amateur musician, classical musician?
Yeah, not a very good one at that. Just a quick disclaimer there. Crypto Pianist and I have known each other since we were 3 years old, unfortunately for me. Uh,
Nice.
so, so we were neighbors. We grew up kind of learning music together. So I initially played the guitar, and then I switched over to the drums, and then we had like a high school musical band, and so that's where my musical journey kind of started. And Crypto Pianist has taken it way further than I have because he, kind of performs here in New York City, and I don't anymore.
Right.
But yeah, definitely very musically inclined. Uh, but I'd say I just don't have the skills.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, yeah, I mean, your project caught my eye because I don't see a lot of projects incorporating a musical element and that generative feature set. So maybe you could talk a little bit about the creation of this NFT. How did you go about with just developing the concept and actually launching it to the world? Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I can talk about that. So honestly, Zero X Music has been many years in the making when you actually think about it. So I would say there were many different points in my life that actually led to the creation of ultimately Zero X Music, our Genesis collection. The first point I would say was a course I studied in Columbia on interactive music using the software called Max MSP. And that really kind of opened my eyes into how you could create interactive art using programming languages, and just generally, technology like introducing all this new technology into music like really opens up the doors into how you can experience it. And
Mm.
I think that's the key part is like how you experience it as someone, that can really change with technology. So I would say that was moment number one. Moment number two that I would say was pretty pivotal was when I went to Bonnaroo in 2014. I had to experience most of that music festival without a cell phone, and what that basically meant was it forced me to engage with the moment and to be vulnerable with the art that was being performed
Mm.
because I knew that that was the last time I would ever hear it. There was no way of actually capturing it or screenshotting it or recording it. And I remember it was a Fish concert, and that Fish closed out the last day. And Fish, for anybody listening, they basically do these large improv sets. And when you listen to Fish, what they're playing, it may be the last time you actually hear what they're playing because I don't think even they really know what they're playing until they
Mm.
get up there. Uh, and that really kind of led me to start thinking about the idea of like creating art that destroys itself. Um,
Mm.
so I thought about that a lot as what if there was a piece of art that basically self-destructed in a sense? What what would that help with? Well, the one thing that would actually help with is it would force users to make a very conscious decision of engaging and being vulnerable with the art.